Welcome to yoga for stronger glutes. We're going to begin here in child's pose, bringing your knees wide and your toes together, sitting your hips back on your heels, reaching and extending your arms forward, and just allowing your chest to melt forward onto the mat. And when you're ready, shift your weight up onto all fours, and we're going to begin here with dancing lion, making big circles with the hips in one direction. Inhaling as you draw the hips forward and exhaling as you draw the hips back. Warming up the hips and really exaggerating the circles. Think about coming back like a child's pose, coming forward like an upward facing dog. And go ahead and reverse the direction of the circles. Let that motion come to a stop. Wrists underneath the elbows, knees underneath the hips. Drop your belly, lift your heart, inhale. And as you exhale, untuck your toes, pull your belly button towards your spine, round your back, exhale. Again, drop your belly, lift your heart, inhaling. As you exhale, pull your belly button towards your spine, round your upper back, and inhale, and exhale, and inhale, and exhale. One more cat-cow. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your heart, inhale. Exhale, untuck the toes, pull the belly button towards the spine, round the back. Lift up a straight left leg behind you, flexing the left foot. Inhale, squeeze up on the left glute. And as you exhale, draw the left knee in towards your chest, squeezing up your abdominals. Inhale, extend that leg up and back. Exhale, squeeze it in. Inhale, squeeze and lift through the left glute. Exhale, squeeze it in through the abdominals. Again, inhaling and exhaling. One last time, inhaling and exhaling. Extend that leg all the way up and back. Bend the knee like you're making a footprint on the ceiling or sky, and pulse that foot up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Keeping the knee bent, draw the knee down next to your right knee, but don't let it touch the ground. And now just press your heel back up towards the sky or ceiling. Again, draw it in, press it up. Draw it in, press it up, really isolating on that glute. Bringing it parallel to your other knee and then pressing the heel up. One more time, draw it in and press it up. And again, let's pulse it. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're almost there. Draw that knee down again, parallel with your other knee, and do a lateral lift, lifting it up to the side like a dog at a fire hydrant, and lower down. Again, lift and lower and lift and lower. Let's do 2 more. Squeezing up on the outside of that hip and lower. One last time. And let's pulse it. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower down. Good. Rock those hips side to side. Take a little rest. And I'm switching over. You don't have to do this, but I'm just switching to the other side so that you can see my other leg more clearly. And whenever you're ready, go ahead and raise up a straight right leg. Flex the right foot. And we're going to do the same thing on the right side. Nice deep inhale right here, squeezing up on the right glute. And as you exhale, draw the right knee in towards your nose, squeezing up your abdominals. Inhale, extend it up and back. Exhale, squeeze it in. Again, inhale, squeezing it up through the glute. Exhale, draw the knee in towards the nose. Inhale, extend. And exhale, squeeze it in. One last time, inhale. And exhale. Extending it up and back. Bend the knee like you're making a footprint on the sky or ceiling. And pulse it up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the right knee down right next to the left, keeping it hovering just above the mat, and then keeping that knee bent, press the heel towards the sky. Again, lower and lift. Lower and press. Lower and press one more time. Lower and drive that heel up, and let's pulse it for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now lower that knee again. This time we're doing the lateral raise. Lift it to the side and lower down. Squeezing up on the side of the hip and lower. Again, lift and lower and lift and lower. One last time, lift, and let's pulse it up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and lower that knee all the way down to the mat. And let's take a rest in child's pose, knees wide, toes together. Sink those hips back onto the heels. Let's take 3 deep breaths. Extending long through the side body, reaching forward through the fingertips. Filling up the lower back, take 1 more deep inhale. Sink those hips back towards the heels on the exhale. And let's shift our weight back up onto all fours. Tuck your toes under. Lift your knees, send your hips up into the air for downward facing dog. Bend one knee, send the opposite heel back and down like a runner's stretch. And switch. And switch. And switch. One more time each side. Switch. And switch. Press both heels back and down. Let's take 1 more deep breath here. And stepping up towards the front of your mat, take as many little steps as you need to arrive in a standing forward bend all the way up at the top of the mat. Feet are hip distance apart and parallel. Keep a soft bend in the knees here. Go ahead and catch on to opposite elbows. Feel that beautiful stretch in your hamstrings. Let's nod our head yes, and then shake your head no, and then nod your head yes one more time, loosening up the neck, and then just allow your head to hang loose and limp, or like a ripe mango from a tree. One more nice deep inhale. And as you exhale, drop your hands down towards your feet, put a deeper bend in your knees, and slowly begin to roll yourself all the way up to standing, 1 vertebra at a time. When you arrive, roll your shoulders into your back, standing up nice and tall. Bring your toes and heels together, and let's get ready for chair pose. Bend your knees, sink your hips back, and reach your arms all the way out and up. Lifting your chest. Keep moving your hips towards the back of the mat. Send the weight back into your heels. Focus on firing up the glutes rather than the thighs. Let's take 1 more breath here. And release into a forward bend for a rest. Keep a soft bend in your knees. And let's come into a second chair pose. So whenever you're ready, bend your knees, sink your hips back, and reach your arms all the way back up towards the sky. And here we're going to raise and lower our hips. So just raising a little bit and then lowering your hips, keeping the knees bent the whole time, using your glutes and pressing into your heels to lift up and then sink back down with control. Keeping your core tight. And lower those hips. One more time. Inhale and exhale. Staying right here for 1 more breath. And exhale. Come all the way back into a forward bend. Relaxing your upper body. Soft bend in the knees. And let's come into one last chair pose. So whenever you're ready, bend the knees, sink the hips back, reach the arms all the way out and up. And this time we're going to do little pulses. focusing on the glutes, squeezing the glutes as you lift, and then pressing your hips back towards the back of your mat as you lower. Keep moving the weight into your heels. Tiny little pulses activating the glutes. And lower all the way back down into a forward bend and rest. Put a deep bend into your knees and slowly roll yourself all the way up to standing, one vertebra at a time. And then take a big step out into a wide second position with your toes turned out. And do a little test bend here of your knees. Make sure your knees are covering your toes when you bend, that you're not over rotating your toes. And from here, we're going to do some bends in the knee. So inhale and exhale. Inhale, let those knees go out nice and wide, covering the toes. Exhale. Inhale, pressing into the feet, and exhale, using your glutes to squeeze and stand yourself back up. And exhale. 2 more. Bend and straighten. One last time. This time we're going to hold it in a plie position. Bring your palms together at your heart center. Keep sinking your hips deeper into the pose. Keep moving those knees out in opposite directions. Let's take one more deep breath here. And press into the heels to bring yourself back up to standing. Toe heel your feet a little bit closer together, setting ourselves up for yogi squat. Toes slightly pointing outward, and then bend your knees, sink your hips all the way down, using your elbows to press your thighs open. Keep dropping your tailbone down and lifting your chest up. Feeling those thighs opening. Let's take one more deep breath here. And lower all the way down onto the hips. And catch on behind the thighs. Take a nice deep inhale to lift your chest. And as you exhale, slowly round your back all the way down to the mat, one vertebra at a time. And when you arrive, hug your knees into your chest, hugging and rocking. Go ahead and place your feet flat onto the mat. And as you inhale, lift your right leg straight up towards the sky or ceiling and interlace your hands behind your thigh. Rotate your ankle in circles in one direction. Increasing circulation here, and reverse the direction of the circles. Beautiful. Let that motion come to a stop. Bend the knee, cross the ankle over the opposite knee, and just use your right hand to press your right knee away. And if you'd like to, you can lift up the left foot and interlace your hands behind the left thigh, getting a beautiful hip rotator stretch. To intensify this stretch, you can gently track your left knee out to the left. And on the next inhale, lift your head and shoulders up towards your left knee, squeezing everything into the tightest ball you can, squeezing up your abdominals, and then keep that squeeze on the legs, but then lower the head and shoulders back to the mat. Go ahead and lower the left foot back onto the mat, release the hands, walk the left foot off the left side of the mat, and allow both knees to fall over to the right, and turn your gaze to the left, teeing out the arms. You should feel a beautiful stretch here on the front of the left hip. Stretch your body from the inside out, filling up the belly with fresh oxygen with every inhale. Feel the front of that left hip opening and stretching. Allow gravity to take you deeper into the mat on every exhale. And come all the way back out of the pose. Uncross the legs, hug and rock your knees back into your chest. And let's get ready for the same thing on the other side. Both feet planting flat next to your hips. Let's lift the left leg up into the air and interlace your hands behind your thigh. Rotate your ankle in circles in one direction. And reverse the direction of the circles, increasing circulation here. Let that motion come to a stop. Bend the left knee, cross the left ankle over the right thigh. Using your right hand, just press your knee away from you. And then if you'd like to, interlace your hands behind the right thigh, drawing that right knee into the chest. And to intensify the stretch, just track your right knee out to the right, just slightly. And on your next inhale, lift your head and shoulders up to meet your right knee. Squeeze everything into the tightest ball you can. Keeping that squeeze on your legs, just lower the head and shoulders all the way back down to the mat. Let's take one more deep breath here. And go ahead and release the hands. Bring the right foot back to the mat. Tee out the arms. Walk the right foot off the right side of the mat. And then drop both knees over to the left. And turn your gaze to the right. Now feeling that beautiful stretch in the front of the right thigh. Deep, long breaths filling up your belly on the inhale. Melting into the mat a little bit further on the exhale. And whenever you're ready, come all the way back to center. Hug and rock your knees back into your chest. Plant your feet onto the mat right next to your hips, setting ourselves up for bridge pose. Begin with a pelvic tilt, and then lift up your lower back, middle back, and upper back, lifting those hips high up into the air, squeezing up the glutes. And as you exhale, articulate your vertebra back into the mat one at a time. Again, pelvic tilt, lift the lower back, middle back, and upper back, pressing into the heels. And as you exhale, slowly lower all the way back down. One last time, a little bit different. Lift the lower back, middle back, and upper back, staying up at your highest point. Let's do little pulses here. So lifting and lowering those hips, but keeping the back lifted above the mat. Every time you lift, squeeze up your glutes a little bit more. Little tiny squeezes. A few more. Keep pressing into the heels. And lift up to the highest point. And exhale, lower all the way back to the mat, one vertebra at a time. When your tailbone touches, hug and rock your knees back into your chest. And we've come to the best part of our class, our relaxation. Go ahead and extend your legs out onto the mat. Allow your feet to fall outward and your palms to face upward. Let's take a nice deep inhale, filling up the lungs, and sighing it out. 2 more, inhaling. 1 last time, inhaling. Allowing the back of the body to melt into the mat below you. Allowing waves of relaxation to wash over your entire being. Beginning to return, wiggling fingers and toes, stretching out your body spontaneously, and hugging and rocking your knees back into your chest, rocking over to your right side, staying in the fetal position for a couple of breaths. And using minimal effort to press yourself up into a seated position. Thank you so much for joining me today. Namaste.